Welcome to What's Up in the Night Sky June videocast, presented by Andy Lawes. Tonight I'm going to talk you through what we can see in the June night sky. Let's hope we have more beautiful clear nights like last month. I will show you where to find Mercury and an occultation of the Moon by Venus, also where to find huge open cluster full of stars that look like a jewel box. And then moving on to the morning, we see the three gas giants and Mars. Plus, of course, this month's meteor shower. Here you can see this month's calendar of moon phases. The next full moon is on the 5th of June, and it's called a strawberry moon. Later in the videocast I will show you some close encounters of the moon with other celestial objects. Let's start with our sun. 92 million miles away, light takes about 8.5 minutes to get to us. We haven't really seen many sunspots on the surface of the sun for the last few years. They are caused by strong magnetic activity within the sun itself. Sunspots are not permanent and they can move slowly across the surface of the sun, changing size as they move. They are not really dark either. They are a couple of thousand degrees cooler than the surrounding areas. They just appear dark. Let's hope we have some visible active regions very soon. Here's a fantastic video taken by Mark Jarvis, who lives in Eastbourne. Using a hydrogen alpha telescope, we can look at the surface of the edge of the sun in more detail. We can also view prominences on the sun's limb. This large prominence was captured over an afternoon. The prominence is approximately 15 Earths edge to edge. In total, 1.3 million Earths can fit in our sun. If a solar flare heads towards the Earth, it can reach us in a matter of minutes and can disrupt radio transmission and damage satellites. Let's move on to Mercury and Venus, the inner planets. Did you know they show phases just like the Moon? Have a look with a small telescope and you will see the crescent of Venus and Mercury. Venus is now lost in the evening glare and soon will become a morning object. Mercury was at its highest point in the evening sky on the 30th of May, but by the end of this month, June, it will sink back down into the late twilight night, becoming unobservable again. So do take this opportunity to view the elusive planet. If you look at Mercury over the next couple of weeks, you will see a subtle change in its look, changing from what looks like a first quarter moon to a thin crescent. Do have a go. Do you remember the two comets I promised were going to light up the summer skies? Well, unfortunately, the two comets here, Comet Swan and Comet Atlas, haven't survived their journey around the sun and are fading rapidly. So let's hope for better things in the year to come. Lots of events going on with the moon this month, and to start on the 5th of June we have the full moon, which is called a strawberry moon. This is because in North America it's a strawberry harvest time. In Europe it's called the rose moon, and in other countries it's dubbed the hot moon due to the long hot days. But not only that, but we have a penumbral eclipse of the moon as well. This is when the moon passes through the secondary Earth's shadow. It will only cover half the moon and may not be noticeable at all. As the moon moves east on the 10th of June, it forms a triangle with Saturn and Jupiter. This is a really good photo opportunity which I hope you'll take. The occultation of Taur Aquarii is on the 12th of June. It starts in the early hours of the morning and will just be over an hour in length. It disappears on the bright side of the moon and reappears on the dark limb. But the skies will be bright and by then may be difficult for you to see. Do give it a go though. As the moon moves further east on June the 13th, it lies directly beneath Mars. And Neptune lies directly above Mars, so that's another really good photo opportunity. After Venus dominating the western skies of May, it has now become a morning object. Still too close to the sun to be observed well, but on the morning of the 19th, Venus is occulted by the moon in daylight. This can be observed with a telescope, but careful planning and caution should be obeyed whenever observing objects close to the Sun. Another fantastic and rare photographic opportunity. Please note these timings are for Bexhill, East Sussex in the UK, so will vary depending on where you live. As we near the summer solstice on the 20th of June, this is when daylight is at its longest, and to observe deep sky objects well is very difficult due to the short nights. But here is the night sky looking south, east and west. We see Cancer, the crab, disappearing into the twilight, followed by Leo the lion. Looking to the south and southwest horizon are Crater and Corvus, two constellations that are overlooked by many amateur astronomers. But two of my favourite constellations, Scorpius and Ophiuchus, the one with the teapot asterism, are both sitting astride the centre of our galaxy. The Milky Way, of course. Using nothing more than binoculars on a clear night, you can spot many open clusters and nebula. Next month I'm going to highlight this area of the Milky Way for you to spot many wonderful objects. One really beautiful globular cluster in the night sky at the moment is the Great Hercules Cluster, or Messier 13. Many stargazers call it the finest globular cluster in the northern hemisphere. It is found in a star pattern called the Keystone, a lopsided square within the constellation of Hercules. Look at the previous map to find it. When you gaze at M13 or the other globular clusters, you're looking at stars that are thought to be 12 to 13 billion years old. That's almost as old as the universe. Don't you think that's truly amazing? Let's move to the early morning skies. This photograph was taken before sunrise in April, and it shows the three planets across the English Channel from the Delaware Pavilion, with this lovely crescent moon under Mars. They are slowly moving towards the evening sky, and once lockdown eases, Astronomy Ventures hopes to be on the Bexhill seafront, showing the public the wonderful gas giants and some of their special features. Jupiter is our first target for our telescope. First seen through a small telescope by Galileo Galilei in 1610, he also discovered the 4 Galilean moons. Jupiter also has a large storm that has been visible since Galileo discovered the planet. Jupiter, as I say, has 4 moons named after Galileo: Io, Callisto, Ganymede and Europa. These can be seen in 10 by 50 binoculars, but you would need to hold them steady on a tripod. Or alternately, use a small telescope. A 6-inch telescope or larger will show the Great Red Spot, which is the size of 3 Earths. Also through the telescope you'll be able to see Jupiter's subtle bands of the equatorial belts. During June, Jupiter is becoming bigger and brighter. By the end of the month, Jupiter rises just before 11 p.m. Jupiter lies in the constellation of Sagittarius and close to the border of Capricornus. 3 shadow transits take place on the 4th, the 11th and the 20th of June. Unfortunately, none of these are visible from the UK, but to explain what they are, from time to time the small, round, black shadows cast by Jupiter's 4 Galilean moons can be seen as they cross or transit the planet's disk for several hours. Unfortunately, these events take place in daylight hours in the UK. Saturn, the second largest planet in our solar system, was also discovered by Galileo. At that time he did not understand the bulges that he could see were rings. Looking through his very small telescope, which only had a diameter of 37 millimeters and only magnified 8 times, he soon rectified this to magnify 20 times. During the month of June, Saturn becomes bigger and brighter. Its rings span some 37 arc-seconds across and are tilted at 20 degrees, the maximum being 27 degrees. It currently lies in Capricornus and moves to Sagittarius later this month. Having a low elevation before sunrise will somewhat limit our views of the most beautiful planet. If you get the opportunity to show friends to a telescope, it definitely has the wow factor. Here is Mars at the beginning of April. You can see the ice cap and many dark areas on the planet. What a fantastic capture by Damien Peach. Mars has been known for well over 4,000 years. Again, Galileo was the first person to view Mars through a telescope and is named after the Roman god of war due to its red appearance. Mars can be seen towards the southeast in the pre-dawn sky at the start of the month at about magnitude 0. Its magnitude will increase to 0.5 and it will become bigger in size. Amateur telescopes can now see Syrtis Major or its ice cap when seeing conditions are good. Neptune is an early morning planet, currently just above Mars, being in conjunction with Mars around the 15th of June. If you observe Neptune through a telescope, look for the subtle blue colour and its largest moon, Triton. Here's a graphic of the 4 planets in the morning sky, looking south to southeast early in the morning. From west to east we have Jupiter, Saturn, Mars and then Neptune just above. If you are not an early bird, you can wait until the end of summer and see them in the evening sky, when we hope the restrictions and gatherings have been lifted and Astronomy Ventures can start the viewing programme again with its telescopes down at the old bathing station cafe in Bexhill. All these events are free as part of our outreach programme. The June Boetids are a meteor shower occurring roughly between the 22nd of June and the 2nd of July each year. In 1998 this shower had an outburst. The zenith hourly rate reached up to 100 per hour. The meteor shower occurs when the Earth crosses the orbit of comet Pons-Winnicke, a short period comet which orbits the Sun once every 6.37 years. They can be very unpredictable. They are also considered very slow meteors, and they peak on June the 27th. May has given us some many magnificent views of the International Space Station as it slowly meanders across the night sky. It's almost as bright as Venus. It houses 6 astronauts again, and now has the Dragon crew spaceship docked to it. Currently, the ISS has no visible passes until July. In the meantime, this video following of the ISS transiting the Moon was taken by Mark Jarvis last month from Eastbourne. Not an astronomical event, but a nighttime phenomenon. Noctilucent clouds, or night shining clouds, are tenuous cloud-like phenomena in the upper atmosphere of Earth. They consist of ice crystals and are only visible during astronomical twilight. Noctilucent roughly means night shining. Do try and photograph these if you see them. It's not a daytime phenomenon, but usually seen late at night, up to and past midnight. I hope you've enjoyed our roundup of what's up in the night sky for June. So keep watching Astronomy Ventures, and especially for the launch of our near space balloon, due to be launched this month, but it is dependent on the lockdown restrictions and the weather. We have a specific window from the Civil Aviation Authority, and this can be launched anywhen from Saturday the 20th of June to Sunday the 28th. So do keep an eye on Astronomy Ventures Facebook pages for further details. If you like our monthly sky diary, please like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You will then get a monthly update of any current astronomical news. I'm Andy Lawes, founder of Astronomy Ventures, wishing you clear skies wherever you are, and please keep safe.